What's good, people? Welcome to another edition of Politricked here on the Got What You Need Podcast Network. Make sure you support and follow the other podcasts on this great network. We talking being friends, we talking life and love, talking the Black Male Podcast, as well as the Encourage and Inspire podcast. All right. Today we're going to talk about sham impeachment hearing that we had a few weeks ago at the same time that government shutdown was looming. We're going to also talk about Senator from New Jersey, senior senator from New Jersey, Robert Menendez, and his indictment on bribery and extortion charges. And then we're going to revisit the Alabama case where the Supreme Court has come in and ruled again that Alabama must create another predominantly black voting district. And we'll discuss it later. But the GOP is already playing foul, and like I said, we'll talk about that later. Let's go ahead and jump into these impeachment hearings. Now, people will say, well, you started off the show saying it was a sham. You're already letting us know how you feel about it. And I'm letting you know how I feel about the hearings because I watched. I watched as the GOP presented 3 star witnesses, and all 3 of them said that there was no evidence or nothing that they had knowledge of that would constitute introducing articles of impeachment. But it gets better. Then you got Congressman from Florida, I believe his name is Byron Donald. He presented, I won't say redacted, let's say an edited text exchange between, I believe it was Hunter and James Biden. And his edits took the text message all out of context, only for later on during the hearing for New York Congresswoman AOC to come in with the full text exchange. And while he sits there as she goes point by point and disputes all of what he tried to so smugly introduce, like he had this smoking gun. And let's go back to Hunter Biden. He is being charged with lying on a gun application, and that's like a federal charge. Anybody listening know that that's BS. No matter how bad a person Hunter Biden is, no matter how bad a son he is, no matter how bad a brother, a spouse, a father, whatever, that don't mean that he just gets to be railroaded. The information that came out about him was illegally obtained. It should have been immediately thrown out. But instead it was passed on to enough people to where they could try to create a case about him. And even with illegally ill-gotten information off of this amazing laptop or whatever, all they could come up with was him being, I guess, convicted of like a drug offense, and then said he wasn't on a gun application. Now, once again, it's the same GOP that say everybody gets an AR-15. Everybody. But Hunter Biden, the president's son, can't have a handgun. Hunter, get you a gun, my G. Get you a fucking gun, my G. Like, come on, man. Like, if anybody should be able to carry a firearm, like, it should be him. Now, getting back to these sham hearings, say, oh, well, these sham hearings. What do you mean, Scott? You know you're in bad shape when you lose Fox News. I think I got a quote from Cavuto. I believe I do. Believe I do. Um, Fox anchor Cavuto, I've been following these hearings. I don't know what was achieved over these last 6+ hours. None of the expert witnesses presented any proof for impeachment. So, yeah. And like I said, when you lose, and there was more, but it was more of the same. So I didn't want to just repeat what somebody else from Fox News said. But when you lose them, and they're itching for any type of information where they could pounce on President Biden, and you have nothing. It was freshmen, congressmen, and women, one after another, just getting up there and embarrassing their GOP counterpart. Um, I think it was Jasmine Crockett from Texas. I mean, killed it. Um, had a gentleman, I believe, from Florida, um, did the same. We had another gentleman, I believe, was from New York, who simply asked if did everybody in the chamber believe that Hunter Biden and President Trump, Donald Trump, I can't believe I said that. I had never referred to him as that. Donald Trump should should be held responsible for the charges that they've been indicted on if they're convicted. And no member of the GOP raised their hand, but not one, because they can't even say that he should be held accountable for his transgression. Like, they can't even say that without receiving backlash. That's how bad it is for them. But once again, my thing and why I wanted to talk about this was that I know that Congress should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time, meaning they should be able to do more than one thing at a time. I totally get that. But not only was it a sham hearing, like, they didn't even present good fake information. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you could put something together, you could make things seem way worse than what it was. And then it's only days, weeks, months later in which, like, this information is debunked. But by that time, the information has already gotten out there. It's entrenched in people's hearts, and they're hardened by it. Everything that the GOP presented that day was immediately debunked that day during that hearing. They had 3 star witnesses: Jonathan Turley, Eileen O'Connor, and Bruce Dubinsky. All 3 of them. Are you here to present information that would constitute a reason to impeach? Jonathan Turley, no, I am not. Eileen O'Connor, have you heard anything here from an evidence and fact standpoint that would constitute introducing articles of impeachment? I have not asked Mr. Dubinsky the same question, and he gave the same answer. Once again, I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, I don't understand how. Well, I get it. Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene in that corner of the party forced you to have these hearings, but to be so ill prepared for them was very surprising, but also very funny, very humorous. Like, you got us all ready for this. Oh, wait, we got all this bombshell information. We got these bombshell witnesses, so on and so forth. And everything was a dud. Everything. Everything. Every person who got up there presented information that was either a lie or it was exaggerated, or it was something that wasn't proven. And every time a Democrat got up there, they presented factual information, um, or they debunked something that the Republicans were trying to bring out. Once again, man, like I said, if they felt like he, they needed to have these hearings, and do this, cool, but have your stuff together. Like it was so bad that Republicans were mad and talking about, how not ready Representative James Comer, who was supposed to be leading leading these hearings, was. I mean, it was just horrible. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Alabama. Yeah. So, as I have been covering this Alabama voter rights, voter suppression story, it's sad that the Alabama GOP don't even disguise their desire to suppress the black vote. Um, they were asked no, they weren't asked, they were ordered multiple times to come up with a voting map that would be fair. And time after time, they didn't do what was asked. They was told to create two predominantly black voting districts in the state, and instead they they took one of the other districts from 30% to 40% black, well below what was requested of them. So there was a 3-court panel in the state court who ordered a special master come in and draw, multiple choices in regards to maps and one would be chosen. The state, however, appealed to the Supreme Court in an effort to postpone the creation of the new map. The state argued that it should be allowed time for a new legal line of attack. However, the justices refused to delay the lower court's drawing of a new map with 2 majority or near majority black districts. In an unsigned order, the court said the application for stay presented to Justice Thomas. Notice, presented to Justice Thomas. They went to the one black justice that helped them suppress the black vote. That's a whole nother podcast that we could talk about Uncle Clarence on, and we will. It just won't be today. But presented to Clarence Thomas and by him referred to the court is denied. No rationale was presented, and there were no noted dissents. So even after they were ordered, hey, go ahead, get out of the way, they're still trying to figure out ways to appeal to the Supreme Court and try to find an angle to stop fair elections in their state. We need to stay on top of this and on top of more cases like this because from Alabama, they're going to go to Georgia. Um, right now, Stacey Abrams should be the governor of Georgia, but she wasn't because she ran against she had an opponent who was also the referee and the commissioner of the league. And there was no possible way that she was going to be able to win with all was going on. And I'm talking about the first time. The second time, won pretty soundly. That was that. But the first go around, there was heavy voter suppression. A lot of black votes were thrown out. A lot of black votes were erroneously disqualified so that Brian Kemp could win the governorship. But yeah, Alabama has some real problems, but shout out to that group who have been on that case. And look, we be shitting on the NAACP. The NAACP is right in the middle of this. Their legal defense fund is helping. So we could talk, we could roll our eyes, we could talk about some of the things that we think they don't do, or some of the things we think that they do wrong, or like that we don't like. But in this case, they're making a difference for generations to come in the state of Alabama and all through the South, man. So big shout out to them and all their hard work and bringing this this injustice to a head and um, bringing it to everybody's attention, like not just in Alabama, but all across the country. Um, I'm just glad that the Supreme Court, as conservative as it is, decided to make the right ruling. All right. Um, Bob Menendez, Senator Robert Menendez, senior senator from Jersey, has been he's charged with one count of conspiracy to commit bribery, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. One count of conspiracy to commit honest services fraud, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. One count of conspiracy. Why does it tell you that and it cuts it off? All right. And then one count of conspiracy to commit extortion under color of official right, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. Also charged in this case is his wife, Nadine Menendez. She's charged with one count of conspiracy to commit bribery, which carries a maximum of 5 years in prison. One count of conspiracy to commit honest services fraud, carries a maximum of 20 years, and one count of, she has basically mirrored the same charge that her husband has. And then we have a third defendant, Wael Hannah, originally of Egypt. It's a few of them. Jose Uribe of Clifton, Fred Diabetes of Edgewater. And they're all charged with one count of conspiracy to commit bribery. Yeah, man. This is a follow-up to when I believe he was tried in 2021, 2020, 2021, and it resulted in a hung jury. At that time, even some Democrats were saying that he should either resign or be forced out. Let Governor Murphy go ahead and pick a replacement, or special election, whatever. New Jersey's a solid blue state. When it comes to New Jersey hasn't voted for a Republican U.S. senator, I think in like 50 years. I don't think they're going to start now. But instead, after this hung jury, which means that there were people on the jury that voted to convict, they wrote him a strongly worded letter and told him to apologize. Like, if we're going to have the respect of the people, then we have to do the right thing, no matter whoever is committing the crime or committing transgression. To allow Menendez to stay in the Senate when once again there was no danger of losing that seat and losing that vote was criminal. And now with him being defiant and him actually having the nerve, mitigated gall to say that he's being attacked because he's a Latina was just laughable, man. Like, some people were talking about like he shouldn't have, like he got caught with a bunch of cash in his house, and it was like stuffed in like suit jackets and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't really see nothing wrong with that. Um, when you're well off, people know you're well off, and when home invasions come, the first place they go is to the safe. So if you want to have some money in different places other than the places that criminals, people that might break in when you're not there would normally look, I don't have an issue with that. I do have an issue with you having gold bullion with your co-defendant's fingerprints on it. Um, uh, Once again, it's no law that says that you can't be paid in gold, but we don't think that this was a thing about, oh, the dollar's bad, pay me in gold or whatever. This was a situation in which they were trying to hide what was going on, and that's the problem. And just from what I've read, he's dead to rights this time, and I very seriously doubt that this will have a chance to go to trial. I'm like, dog, like you have to make a deal to keep your wife out of jail. And I understand that, like, this is a new marriage. This is the mother of his daughter, Alicia, anchor at MSNBC, and salute to her for letting everybody know that she wouldn't be covering the case at all. She understood that her colleagues at MSNBC and colleagues at other networks will be covering the case extensively, as they should, but that she would be taking a hands-off approach to it. And somebody had the nerve to throw in, Chris Cuomo or whatever. I'm gonna tell you like this: Alicia doing the right thing, but Chris did the right thing too. Like if you can't look out for your family, then who do you look out for? Just like when Jeb Bush cheated for his brother. I'm sitting there like, yeah, I didn't want um, W to be the president, but I also knew that if I was in the case of Jeb and the last state to decide the presidency is the state that I'm the governor of, that I control, and this is a chance for my brother to be president. Come on, y'all. Come on. So I don't want to get too far out of the subject, man. So once again, man, Senator Menendez really has a tough legal road ahead of him, but not only once again for him, but also his wife is facing the same exact charges that he is. And he has to be careful because what happens is those co-defendants, all they need is for one of them to flip and give up the goods, and he's done. I think he has no choice but to strike a deal. Um, I think he should have struck the deal before, like after the last case. I think he should have struck a deal to resign and not have the case brought up again. But instead, he pretended as if him being free and like because of a hung jury was the equivalent to an acquittal, and this is why we're here now. So I'll keep us abreast of once again the Menendez case, um, as well as what's going on in Congress and what's going on with Speaker McCarthy, because right now he just appears to be just the weakest, um, and you can't govern like that. You can't govern by jumping every time your crazy caucus tells you to jump. Like, you can't be at You can't govern at the behest of such unreliable, unprofessional, uneducated, unintelligent, and just like non-compassionate people. And the fact that Matt Gaetz, look, I understand that Florida decided not to charge him in the whole like Dell sex thing, but he paid for pussy. We have the receipts. And whether the corrupt state of Florida, led by the corrupt governor Ron DeSantis, decided to charge him, the fact that he has so much power, like pay for girls to go to the Bahamas to fuck. And the fact that he gets to the grandstand over and over again. Representative Lauren Boebert out of Colorado. We just saw what she did. Vaping inside a presentation of Beetlejuice, all while being fondled by her date, who happened to be a progressive, and he getting all this backlash at his business. Well, now he getting all these bad Yelp reviews or whatever. But that's what you get, B. And there's nothing wrong with, dating her or whatever. But like, why be trash when you're out? Why be trash? There's plenty of movie theaters showing adult films where y'all could have went in the back and did whatever. But instead, you're gonna go to this like family event and, and make it about yourself. And then, what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene. There was an incident recently in Congress where I believe New York Congressman Jamal Bowman set off an alarm, opening the door he wasn't supposed to open. Now, every member of the GOP is saying he should be expelled for doing that. But these are the same people that's saying, oh, those papers we found in Mar-a-Lago wasn't important. Oh, that lady up in New York he raped. Oh, what big deal? Oh, so what? He inflated his business by over 250 million, and that's lowballing. This man was never nowhere near an actual billionaire. And in the coming weeks, when the New York case comes out and all the facts are come, the case is so open and shut that they basically said, yo, y'all just show up so that we can tell y'all how much y'all gotta pay. Like, we almost don't even want to hear from y'all other than for y'all to sit there and listen to what we're going to decide in regards to how we're going to dissolve your company, how we're going to get rid of the assets, liquidate the assets or whatever, and how you'll never be able to head a company ever again in the state of New York. That's all what he's showing up in the money laundering case. And then in the civil rape case, once again, they're like the judge. We have proof that you raped Miss Carol. The only thing we're deciding now are damages. And what's amazing to me, man, is anytime progressive or even a black man is even accused of any type of touching of a woman or whatever, Jonathan May just holler at me. Like, he got to go through the fire. Yet this man, it has been determined that he indeed raped this woman. And I ain't heard a peep from Me Too. Man, fuck y'all. Like, word up, yo. Fuck y'all and y'all whole movement. Fuck y'all whole style. Y'all whole style is chump. me too, or whatever. It's only me too for some of y'all. And if it can't be a protector for all, then get the fuck out of here with that. All right. That's my time, man. Sorry to end on some profanity or whatever, but I hate fake outrage. I oh man, I hate fake outrage. Like that just burns me. Um, they had a whole movement. They attacked people and all this kind of stuff. And I ain't if Weinstein, was who they were after, then fine. But they could have been got, you know, back when Rockefeller was recording Paid in Full. Dame Dash and Harvey Weinstein had a run in because of how he was treating women on the set. And everybody went after Dame at the time. So don't sit here and act like 20, 30 years ago we could have nipped it in the bud. But we let powerful people, powerful rich people cover up. And then 20 years down the line, we want to throw the book at them or whatever. The damage, I mean, that's fine, but the damage is done. All right? That's my time. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a brand new episode, man. Appreciate all the support. Don't forget to share and let people know what we're doing over here at Politricked. Don't forget Life and Love, the Black Male Podcast, me and friends, as well as the Encourage and Inspire podcast here on the Great Got What You Need Network. I'm your boy Sky for Politricked, and I'm out. Peace.